There exists a principle so powerful that it has been concealed within ancient teachings for centuries. This principle is not some metaphor or empty rhetoric. It is an operational law that has been encoded in the mysteries of life. It is a law that governs the relationship between you and reality itself, a principle so profound that it alters the very fabric of your experience. The law of reversal. It turns everything you've been taught about manifestation and effort on its head. When you embody this law, when you align with it fully, everything you have been tirelessly pursuing begins to pursue you. It shifts the dynamic of your life completely. However, when you resist it, every action you take generates friction, limitation, and static, making your path far harder than it needs to be. The core of this law lies in its ability to reverse the flow of energy between you and the universe. You apply it constantly, yet often you apply it in opposition to your own desires, which is why your deepest wants seem to perpetually elude your grasp. Consider this. You apply pressure, and existence hardens. You clutch tighter, and what you desire withdraws. You articulate the clearest intentions, yet the universe responds to something entirely different, the frequency beneath the surface, the energy that lies just beyond the words you speak. This is the essential misalignment that the law of reversal aims to correct. Once you understand this, you'll learn how to interrupt that pattern, how to redirect this powerful law so that it works in your favor instead of against you. What I am about to share with you is actionable truth, something you can begin implementing today. There are no complex rituals, no convoluted ceremonies, no mystical methods that require years of study. Instead, it is simply a matter of clarity, aligning your frequency and your internal mechanism to an operational law that already resides within you. By understanding the law of reversal, you'll become a magnet, not through force or manipulation, but by clearing the interference that obstructs the natural flow of what is already traveling toward you. The systems that benefit from keeping you in perpetual pursuit will call this idea subversive. And it is, in a way, because it removes power from external structures and returns that power to your sovereignty, where it rightfully belongs. This is subversive, not because it goes against universal laws, but because it challenges the systems that thrive on keeping you distracted, anxious, and disconnected from your authentic self. In a world where your existence is often viewed as a transaction platform for commodified attention, this law gives you the power to reject those systems. Your life is not a product for sale. Your being is not a brand to be marketed. Instead, you are a resonance instrument, an embodiment of your most authentic frequency, which the universe naturally reflects back to you. This is how true abundance works. It does not come from endless striving and manipulating external forces. It comes from aligning your internal energy with the natural flow of life. So, why does force lead to failure? It's simple. Reality does not respond to your conscious declarations. It responds to your underlying resonance. The baseline frequency from which you operate governs the experiences that you attract. If your baseline is urgency, life will reflect more urgency back to you. If your baseline is scarcity, life will reflect that scarcity. You might consciously declare that you are ready for abundance, but if your subconscious mind is broadcasting fear and lack, the universe will only register that frequency. This is why, despite your best efforts, your most passionate affirmations, your laborious actions, things seem to move at a frustratingly slow pace, or not at all. The law of reversal corrects this fundamental misalignment by addressing the frequency you're broadcasting. Rather than stacking more effort onto a foundation of anxiety, this law helps you dissolve the anxiety that distorts your signal. You stop trying to force open doors that were meant to open toward you. You stop managing variables beyond your control. You release your grip on the outcome without releasing the vision. And that's when the magic happens. When you stop resisting, the very opportunity you were working so hard to create arrives unannounced, as if it had been waiting for you to create the space for it. Think back to moments in your life when relief came before resolution. You were caught in a mental struggle, wrestling with complexity, when suddenly you were struck with clarity. This clarity didn't come through endless analysis or further effort. It came when you finally let go and allowed space for something else to enter, an unexpected message, an unplanned encounter, a detail that had been in front of you all along but had been invisible until that very moment. This was not mere coincidence. This was synchronicity with a law that favors balance and equilibrium over excess and struggle. You stopped obstructing the flow, and in doing so, you became open to receiving what had always been meant for you. This is where most people will object. So, I should remain passive? Is that what you're saying? The answer is no. Non-action is not passivity. It is not inaction. It is the cessation of force. It is action purified of fear and distortion. It is movement originating from the center, not from desperation or anxiety. It's like the flame that doesn't combat darkness, it simply radiates. It's like water that doesn't negotiate with gravity, it moves with it. When you abandon the struggle, you don't diminish, you sharpen. The key to this shift is conscious surrender, and that's what I will guide you through. To understand this concept better, let's break it down. Control doesn't create, it constricts. You've been tightening your grip under the belief that you're directing your destiny. But in truth, your grip has been strangling the very channel through which your desires were supposed to flow. Every time you inspect your progress, asking, "Has it manifested yet?" you disturb the process and delay the arrival of your desires. Think about the gardener who understands the law of nature. They protect the environment, nurture the soil, and honor the timing of growth. They don't force the plant to grow faster. They trust in the process. The same applies to your internal landscape. Releasing effort doesn't mean giving up on your desires. It means sustaining your desires without contaminating them with fear. It's maintaining your vision with the same quiet composure as you hold your breath between ocean swells. It's not forced, not anxious. It's calm, steady, and unwavering. You stop petitioning reality to meet your demands. Instead, you inform it. You don't chase manifestations. You become the conditions that make manifestation inevitable. This is the core of the law of reversal. Intention initiates. Alignment amplifies. Surrender completes. Without alignment, intention creates noise. Without surrender, alignment stalls at the threshold of realization. All three must work together to form the complete circuit that ensures your desires are fulfilled. This is what I'll show you how to sustain daily, even in the midst of external pressure and demands. If you've been conditioned to believe that relentless hustle produces results, I encourage you to question that belief. Look back at the times in your life when things advanced most rapidly. Was it during periods of intense tension, forcing things to happen, or was it during moments of focus that were merged with inexplicable peace? How many of the most significant opportunities in your life came from unexpected sources, unplanned conversations, unanticipated doorways, and serendipitous connections you couldn't have orchestrated? The law of reversal does not negate effort. It makes effort effective. The key here is not to work harder, but to work smarter by aligning your energy and intention with the flow of the universe. Before we continue, I want to clarify one critical point. Your mind might try to weaponize this principle as a manipulation tactic. You might think, "I'll release so that it manifests faster." That's still grasping, still control in disguise. The field cannot be deceived by language games. It registers energetic weight, not linguistic manipulation. What we are doing is operating at a more fundamental and radical level. We are dissolving the weight, the fear, the anxiety, the pressure that prevents your intention from manifesting naturally. We are returning authority to the aspect of you that operates from a place of calm rather than panic. So, as you move forward with this, remember, release is not about abandonment of desire. It is about sustaining desire without fear contaminating it. It's about being open to receiving the results without constantly inspecting the path. You will soon experience conscious surrender firsthand, the pivot point where outcomes no longer evade you, but rather start approaching you. You'll learn to replicate this process in the ordinary moments of your life. For now, just observe the rhythm. The more you push, the more everything tangles. You refresh communications compulsively, mentally rehearse interactions, replay scenarios in your mind, and the entire day feels abrasive. But the moment you disengage, when you move through your day, without grasping solutions surface effortlessly. The breakthrough you were desperately seeking shows up unexpectedly. This is not fortune. It's the law of reversal in action. When you release, you stop obstructing the natural flow. You stop trying to control the timing, and in doing so, you allow the universe to deliver exactly what you need when you need it. Conscious surrender begins with radical honesty. Acknowledge the thought that insists, "Without my constant pressure, this will fail." Allow that thought to arise and dissolve. Then, return to the essential statement of your intention, clear and weightless, as though you are placing it on a trusted desk. You don't track its journey, nor do you monitor its progress. You trust the system you've just engaged. You will notice your mind attempting to negotiate. "Okay, I'll release so that manifestation accelerates." But that's still control, just dressed up in different language. The field reads energetic weight, not words. You strip away the weight, fear, timelines, expectations, and take whatever action feels alive in the present moment. Then you stop manipulating the process, allowing the energy to naturally unfold. This is how it feels internally when executed correctly. This outcome belongs to me through alignment, not strain. I plant the seed once, I protect the environment, I respond to openings. There is no supplication in that frequency. It is clean, like placing a key on its designated hook. You know its location, and you trust that it's there. You don't need to check on it every few minutes. Observe the day-to-day examples that demonstrate this principle. When you push for a conversation to resolve immediately, it might sour. But when you step back and give it space, it softens. You might pursue an opportunity through repeated efforts, only for it to stagnate. But when you close your systems, attend to other matters, and give it time, the opportunity naturally unfolds. The law of reversal is a powerful force. It teaches you to release, align, and trust. It's not about abandoning desire, it's about working with the universe instead of against it. By understanding this law, you will find that everything you've been trying to create will start flowing toward you, effortlessly. The concept of surrendering control is something that seems counterintuitive to many, especially in a world that pushes us to strive, force, and chase after everything we want. However, in the subtle dynamics of the universe, there's a profound law at play, one that works in direct opposition to forceful effort and instead supports the practice of allowing things to unfold with ease. This law, often referred to as the law of reversal, is the key to a transformative way of interacting with reality, one that shifts the entire relationship between you and the world around you. The truth is simple. When you stop aggressively manipulating the mechanisms of your reality, when you release the compulsion to force, you open yourself up to receiving what you desire. The very mechanism that has been jammed by your forceful attempts to control begins to release in response to your absence. In this space of surrender, the universe provides, but only once you honor its natural timing. Some thresholds in life can only open when the right conditions are met. You can strain against resistance, pushing and forcing, and end up damaging the structure. Or you can choose to wait the necessary duration, knowing that when the timing is right, you will pass through with ease, without friction, without resistance. The ego, of course, will protest, demanding recognition, validation, and control over outcomes. But here's the thing. The outcomes of life are indifferent to who receives the acknowledgement. The universe doesn't care who gets credit. It simply responds to the energy you emit. The mind, accustomed to the fast-paced, urgent world around us, will try to demand a technique, a quick fix. You'll want to know exactly how to manifest faster or achieve your desires sooner. But the solution is not more techniques, more methods, or more force. It's something elegantly simple. It's about trusting the process and letting go of the need to manipulate it. Take one situation in your life today. Choose something you truly want to manifest. Write a clear, affirmative statement about it on a piece of paper. Treat it like a message to your future self, a reminder of your intention. Then, place this paper somewhere you won't obsessively monitor it. Let go of the need to constantly check in on it. Afterward, take a deep breath, feel your lower body and shoulders relax, and affirm that this is handled. Once you've done this, engage in the next clean, ordinary action that's in front of you. If there's a communication that genuinely requires your response, respond to it. If there's a task that needs completing, finish it. Engage fully in whatever you do, but without attaching any urgency to your desired outcome. For the next 24 hours, refuse the urge to check or verify your progress. Resist the compulsion to monitor or manipulate the situation. If an opportunity presents itself, take action on it. If not, do not disturb the energetic field by trying to force something to happen. Notice the subtle urges that arise within you. Allow them to exist, but don't act on them immediately. By doing so, you will start distinguishing between genuine intuition and anxious impulse. Intuition is quiet and precise. It will direct you with calm certainty. Contact this person, look at this document, take this route. On the other hand, anxiety is loud, diffuse, and chaotic. Do something, anything. It's the kind of thinking that leads to mental spirals, loops of overthinking, and forced action. Your job is to cooperate with the quiet guidance of intuition and deliberately starve the anxious impulse. This is how you regain control of your emotional state, which in turn shifts your external circumstances. Now, what about ambition and drive? Do you abandon them? Absolutely not. Ambition is necessary for achievement. You can maintain your drive, aim with precision, and execute your plans with excellence, but this must be done from a place of surrender, not from desperation. When you remove the flinch from your actions, that's when your true potential emerges. Think of athletes who release their excessive grip on the ball and find their technique refining naturally. Musicians who stop overcompensating and the rhythm locks into place. You too are refining your approach. You are not becoming passive. You are removing the static that distorts your actions and makes them less effective. But there is a societal pressure, a cultural demand for urgency. People, conditioned by a hustle-driven culture, equate panic with commitment. They may perceive your calm, measured approach as indifference or apathy. However, maintaining your frequency, your inner peace, is essential. Don't let external opinions disrupt your calm. Your results will speak for themselves. Evaluate your success through outcomes, not through performance. When the results begin to align, the need for explanations will vanish. People will no longer question your approach because your outcomes will be undeniable. You'll have created space for real success, and the story of how you got there will be irrelevant to anyone but you. In the meantime, protect your energetic field, much like a gardener protects freshly planted seeds. You must limit the amount of external input that tramples over your intentions. Do not invite conversations or consume information designed to trigger fear and doubt. Avoid engaging with anyone who requires your anxiety to feel secure. Keep your process simple. You know what you planted, and you will witness it when it emerges. Sometimes you may need a physical reminder to stay grounded. This could be something simple, like a stone placed on your desk or a piece of jewelry that you wear regularly. Each time the urge to check on your progress rises, contact the reminder and return to your statement of intention. Don't repeat it compulsively, but use the reminder to center yourself. Memory, not constant monitoring, is the key. Presence, not surveillance, is what matters most. If nothing manifests immediately, this is still valuable work. You've trained the most important capacity, the ability to hold your intention without leaking desperation into the process. Once you can sustain that clean signal, the intention held without fear or anxiety for extended periods, the field has the quiet it needs to orchestrate the events you could never manually arrange. Your intention becomes magnetic. It draws what you need into your life, and everything you encounter responds not to your stated words, but to the signal you carry within your emotional state. This signal can be called many things: the quantum field, the subconscious mind, the invisible substrate that underlies all of existence. Regardless of the terminology, the mechanics are the same. It responds to what you emotionally register as true and organizes events to validate it. When you are in a state of wanting, your emotional frequency is loud, and the universe responds by delivering more of what you want. But wanting is not the same as having. Feeling, on the other hand, is a different frequency altogether. Feeling speaks with authority, while wanting speaks with volume. This is why effort can sometimes coexist with delay. You might declare abundance with your words while still feeling scarcity underneath. You might speak of connection, but if fear of abandonment is vibrating beneath the surface, you will attract more of that fear. You may request clarity, but if confusion is the underlying current, your experiences will reflect that confusion back to you. The field is neither moral nor sentimental. It is precisely obedient to the frequencies you emit. It doesn't care what you say, it only responds to what you feel. This explains why effort without alignment leads to resistance, and why alignment without surrender stalls at the threshold of realization. Take a moment to reflect on times when you desired a response from someone and unconsciously believed that you were being dismissed. You crafted the ideal message, checked it repeatedly, and grew increasingly anxious as time passed. This created a frequency of not being valued, and the field delivered confirmation. It reflected back exactly what you feared, rejection. Contrast that with times when you were calm and composed. You sent one clear message and then moved on, trusting that the response would come when the time was right. And it did, not because your words were different, but because your emotional field was different. Your gravitational field was one of certainty, and the universe responded in kind. This is the mechanism in one statement. Your most consistently practiced emotion becomes your attractor. If you repeatedly practice anxiety, the universe will reflect back more reasons for you to feel anxious. If you consistently practice certainty, you will create openings in your life, opportunities, insights, and connections that were previously inaccessible. This is why the law of reversal begins internally. You don't have to force outcomes. Instead, you upgrade the baseline frequency that outcomes respond to. So, how do you transform a feeling without self-deception? The key is to not overlay positive language on top of fear. Instead, find the next most honest feeling that exists at a higher frequency than fear and stabilize there. It's not about pretending everything is perfect, but acknowledging that some things are functioning, and you can build from there. The field accepts that frequency because you can genuinely embody it. You have evidence in your past where you've felt safe, where you've made superior decisions, perceived opportunities, and declined misaligned options. When you're in that state, your external world doesn't have to change for you to know that your broadcast has shifted. The shift is subtle but powerful. People may call it luck, but what they fail to recognize is the mechanism at work. The law of reversal appears mystical to those who have never seen the shift in their internal energy. Many people try to change their external conditions while maintaining unchanged emotional states, which is akin to shouting new directions from a vehicle that still has the old destination programmed in the navigation system. The universe politely reroutes you to familiar coordinates until you change your internal state. A designer maintained that she was always behind schedule. Every project confirmed this belief. She faced delays, client revisions, and endless extensions. After replacing that internal script with "I deliver meaningful work according to schedule" and embodying that new mindset, she saw her projects begin to arrive on time. Client communications became concise, and revisions were finished earlier than expected. A man obsessed over a relationship that remained undefined. His internal script was "I am safe," which led him to seek constant reassurance from the other person. Once he shifted to "my safety is internal and I am drawn to people who mirror that," the dynamic shifted. He stopped analyzing every message, and clarity naturally emerged. An entrepreneur was pursuing a partnership that didn't feel quite right. Feeling desperate, he reframed his intention: "Aligned partners enhance both my peace and my prosperity." With this new mindset, he was able to let go of the partnership that created tension in his chest, making space for a smaller, yet far more aligned opportunity to emerge. In all three cases, none of them increased their actions. Instead, they carried a different frequency, one that resonated with alignment, not with the pressure of urgency. What about affirmations, you might ask? Language is useful, but only when it anchors you in a state you can genuinely hold. The field doesn't care about the words. It reads the state those words generate within you. If a phrase creates tension because you don't believe it, it works against you. If it creates steadiness and calm, hold it. What about visualization? It's valuable when it results in peace. Visualize the outcome until your nervous system softens, and then hold that peace. If, after visualizing, you feel more desperate than when you began, you're rehearsing scarcity. Stop the practice and engage in one grounded action that would align you with that desired state. Today, choose one domain in your life: resources, relationships, or vitality. Write down a statement that genuinely elevates your frequency by 1 degree. For example, I make clear decisions that generate steady resources, or I enjoy exchanges that feel reciprocal. Read it once, let your breath descend, and then behave for the next hour as the person for whom that statement is obviously true. Respond to actions that advance your goals and decline distractions that don't align with that intention. As you do this, old programming will attempt to reassert itself. It will suggest a need for urgent verification to confirm nothing has changed. Smile at it and continue moving forward. Do not engage with it. Simply return to your intention and trust that the shift is already in motion. The law of reversal operates as a powerful force that reveals how we interact with the world and how the world interacts with us. It introduces the concept of inner steadiness as a fundamental element in shaping external outcomes. Instead of relying on frantic actions or constant efforts, the law proposes a calm, measured, and strategic approach to manifestation, where we influence the world without clinging to outcomes. Understanding and applying this law can transform how we experience and shape our reality, ultimately leading us to a state of consistent flow and success. The power of the law of reversal becomes apparent when we realize that internal steadiness, grounded in clarity and calm, is the key to managing external circumstances. In the midst of a chaotic world, you might often feel the urge to act out of desperation or anxiety, trying to manipulate outcomes in your favor. However, true power lies in the ability to remain centered, making decisions from a place of clarity rather than panic. A key point in this process is the ability to convey a message with authority, not by force, but by precision. One well-articulated message is far more effective than 10 that leak desperation. When you state your needs, desires, or boundaries with simplicity and confidence, you radiate authority. The world, as it often does, reorganizes itself around this steadiness. It is the energy of unwavering focus and composed intent that recalibrates your environment and circumstances. The law teaches that need is legitimate, but panic is optional. In difficult situations, your need may indeed be genuine, but allowing panic or anxiety to take over serves no purpose. In fact, the more challenging the external conditions, the more valuable it becomes to maintain a stable internal climate. Your ability to remain calm, especially in the face of difficulty, amplifies your effectiveness and sharpens your decision-making capabilities. This is where the law of reversal becomes most powerful. It returns your agency by helping you master your internal frequency without demanding external control. The temptation to believe that outcomes are random or dictated by chance is powerful, but it often serves as a protective mechanism for the ego. When we tell ourselves that external events are random, we feel justified in relinquishing responsibility for our own internal states. However, this belief imprisons us in a cycle of reactive behavior, constantly at the mercy of circumstances rather than actively shaping them. The law of reversal offers a way out. It doesn't require control over everything. It emphasizes that you are responsible for your frequency and energy. Your actions, thoughts, and intentions create a field that influences your environment. What you send out into the world, whether it's calm, anxiety, clarity, or desperation, dictates the outcomes you experience. The more you understand this mechanism, the better equipped you are to navigate life's challenges with purpose and confidence. This law protects your internal energy like a precision instrument. If you hand it over to people who thrive on drama, or if you expose it to stress hormones and negativity, you dilute your own signal. It is essential to guard what enters your mind and energy field. If you do not allow negative thoughts or doubts to invade your space, what emerges from that protective environment will be far more aligned with your true intentions. As you practice maintaining this balance, you will begin to notice a shift in how quickly your intentions manifest. What once took months or even years may now unfold in a matter of weeks or days. You will also become aware of a new type of friction, a quiet refusal when something is misaligned. Instead of pursuing every opportunity or option, you will learn to honor the subtle feeling that tells you to decline or step away from certain paths. This honoring is not rooted in fear, but in a deep commitment to maintaining the clarity and integrity of the field you've just calibrated within yourself. This leads us to a paradox. The moment you stop desperately requiring the result, it begins to approach you. You have likely experienced this before. When you press for a conversation, it becomes strained and brittle, but when you release the need for it, it flows naturally. The more you grip tightly to an outcome, the more elusive it becomes. But when you release the clutch, the engine engages and the process unfolds effortlessly. This paradox is not a supernatural occurrence. The universe operates on balance, not excess. Requiring something too desperately is an excess, a form of energy that distorts the natural flow of things. On the other hand, peace represents balance. When you release the need to force an outcome, you create space for the outcome to manifest in its own time and way. The concept of release is not about loss of interest or giving up. It's about removing the weight of desperation that blocks the desired result from landing. When you stop narrating timelines to the universe, you stop treating your desire as a strategy to be executed on a specific schedule. Quietness becomes the frequency the field can register, and it responds accordingly. As you work with the law of reversal, silence becomes an essential part of your process. Protective silence is not about secrecy or hiding things from others. It is active stewardship of your intentions. After you plant a seed, you must protect the environment in which it grows. This means not narrating every detail of your process to people who feed on doubt or fear, and not consuming media or information that spikes your stress levels. The silence you maintain is not passive. It is the space in which your intentions can develop and mature without interference. When fear thoughts arise, what if this never happens? What if I'm wrong? You meet them with acceptance, but without attachment. You don't need to argue with these thoughts or try to dispel them immediately. Simply acknowledge them as passing weather patterns and return to your steady center. This process of meeting fear and returning to your intention is a vital part of the work. A key component of the law of reversal is the idea that alignment is necessary for manifestation. This alignment goes beyond desire. It involves being in harmony with the energy of the thing you seek to create. Wanting without alignment is futile because the energy you broadcast is misaligned with the outcome you desire. However, when you cultivate composed certainty, your alignment is magnetic, and it naturally attracts the right opportunities. To maintain this alignment, you must resist the temptation to chase every option that presents itself. Instead of reacting to every possible outcome, trust that the right opportunities will appear when your internal energy is steady. As you practice this, you will notice that the more you release your grip on outcomes, the more opportunities arise, often in unexpected ways. The three domains of reversal: resources, vitality, and connections. The law of reversal reveals itself in three key domains: resources, vitality, and connections. In each of these areas, the paradox operates to expand your opportunities and experiences. Resources: often, we chase validation in the form of external recognition or approval, which only diminishes our value. Instead of padding your communications with apologies or self-doubt, replace those with clarity and confidence. When you stand in your power, your opportunities expand, not because the world becomes more generous, but because your signal becomes clear and aligned. Vitality. Our bodies often work against us when we try to force things to happen. By treating your body as an ally, already oriented toward order, you begin to shift your physical state in a way that supports your intentions. Tension and force create turbulence, whereas openness and trust create the conditions for ease and flow. By relaxing your grip on the body and mind, you create a space where your desires can land and take root. Connections. In relationships, we often grip too tightly, interpreting silence or distance as rejection. Instead, choose to enjoy your own company and appear as someone who is already complete. Affection will flow back naturally, or the misaligned connections will release without drama. When you release your need for validation from others, you create space for true connection. In the process of manifestation, non-inspection plays a crucial role. Once you have set an intention and taken action, it is essential to stop checking the status of the outcome constantly. This means refraining from refreshing your email, checking your phone repeatedly, or hovering over the process to ensure it is progressing. These actions signal to the universe that you do not trust that the outcome is already in motion. When you release the need for constant inspection, you allow the timing and orchestration of the universe to unfold without interference. This is not about laziness, it is about strategy. The universe works best when you allow it the space to arrange what is necessary, and your role is to maintain the internal state of calm and certainty that supports the process. This piece is about creating a profound shift in your approach to life, illustrating the power of stepping away from the constant chase and moving into a place of steady trust. It talks about how we often fall into patterns of control, anxiety, and uncertainty, and how by embracing a more centered and balanced way of being, we can reshape the world around us. The idea of training your instrument is a metaphor for developing and refining the inner states and energies that we project into the world. Your energy is one of the most powerful things you can control. The way you carry yourself, the confidence you emanate, and the certainty in your actions are the signals that the universe picks up. Being in alignment with your true self and staying grounded, free from desperation and doubt, attracts opportunities that are in harmony with your inner frequency. If you're constantly chasing or doubting, the results are reflected in your circumstances, more of the same chaos and unease. But by aligning your actions with calm, clarity, and intention, you shift the field. Your external world starts to reflect the peace and certainty you've cultivated internally. Training your instrument, as it's referred to here, requires attention and discipline. It means staying present in the moment, not allowing fear or uncertainty to take the reins. It's about removing the hidden timer that creates pressure, the silent one that makes you doubt and question whether things will work out. This internal struggle isn't helping you, it's creating friction that makes everything harder. By simply releasing that pressure, you open the door to clarity and the flow of things coming together naturally. The more you release the need to control, the more things begin to fall into place with ease. Honesty in timing and trusting your process is essential. Timing is everything. The universe operates on its own rhythm, and by tuning into that rhythm, you let go of trying to force outcomes. Instead, you trust that the next step will unfold at the right time. You learn to detach from the urgency that often clouds judgment and moves you away from your true path. Cleanliness in your approach is key. Leaving clean edges means that when you stop intelligently. It's not about laziness or avoidance. It's about respecting the process and not forcing things when the time isn't right. It's about not micromanaging the details, trusting that the bigger picture is taking care of itself. This level of trust and surrender is the signal you send to the universe that you are operating from a place of abundance, not scarcity. The world responds to steadiness. You stop seeking validation because you've already validated yourself through your actions and presence. When you communicate, you do so with precision, without the need to explain or justify. This precision creates clarity, and it cuts through the noise. People who are aligned with your frequency will feel the calm and the stability you exude. They will be attracted to it, while those who are not will naturally drift away. This is not a loss. It's a natural selection, a process of elimination that brings only those who resonate with your frequency into your life. The people who match your frequency feel relief. They are not bound by the drama or tension that often accompanies relationships based on need or insecurity. Instead, there is a shared understanding, a resonance that creates harmony. Those who feed on drama, on chaos, or who thrive in the emotional roller coaster will not be able to stay in your orbit for long. They will drift, and you must allow them to do so without attachment. This is an important part of the process, learning to create space for the right people to show up while letting go of those who no longer serve your growth. Setbacks are inevitable, but they are not signals of failure. When you encounter a setback, the process isn't broken, the law isn't violated. You can correct your baseline, recalibrate, and move forward. Apologize if necessary, but do not fall into the trap of over-explaining or justifying. When you stop being desperate for validation and external approval, you create a space where you can simply exist, and your actions speak for themselves. Results do not respond to theatrics or drama. They respond to steadiness. This steadiness is what creates true impact. When you remain calm and centered, you show others that you trust the process, and in turn, they begin to trust you. This creates a momentum that is sustained not by force, but by clear intention and unwavering consistency. In a world filled with noise and distractions, your ability to work cleanly, to execute the obvious next step, and to stop when it's time to stop is a rare quality. It's the art of discerning when to push and when to release, knowing that both are essential in different moments. In this space, your actions become the signal, and the universe responds accordingly. Your relationship with time shifts as you embody this practice. Each moment, each interaction, each task becomes an opportunity to reset and recalibrate. The thresholds you cross throughout the day become markers for returning to your center. Each transition from one space to another is a moment to re-establish your focus and intention. This practice of resetting is not just about getting through the day, but about doing so with clarity and purpose. Through this process, you are changing on a deep neurological level. Each time you choose trust over control, calm over panic, you are rewiring your brain. Your nervous system begins to understand that safety does not require constant vigilance, and provision does not demand exhaustion. This is where the science of neuroplasticity intersects with the wisdom of ancient teachings. You are not simply applying a technique, you are changing your relationship with reality itself. The transformation is not just in your circumstances, but in who you are becoming. The person who was constantly chasing now stands still and allows. The person who was pushing against the current now flows with it. This shift is not always easy, and it often feels destabilizing at first. But it is the only path to real freedom. It is the death of the old version of you, the one who believed that success required struggle, that love required suffering, and that worthiness had to be earned through constant effort. The new version of you knows that your value is intrinsic. It is not conditional. You no longer need to chase after love, success, or worthiness. You know that they are already within you, and the universe is simply waiting for you to recognize and claim them. This is the law of reversal, the process that transforms not just what arrives in your life, but who you become in the process of receiving. As you begin to embody this truth, your relationships will shift. Some will deepen, while others may complete. People who were attracted to your struggle will no longer find you interesting, while those who resonate with your peace will be drawn to you. This is not a loss, it is an alignment. You are not pushing anyone away, you are simply allowing the right people to come forward. In your professional life, this shift creates an effortless flow. You stop accepting projects that drain you, and better opportunities appear. You stop tolerating clients who disrespect your boundaries, and those who value your work show up. You stop performing your worthiness. Your work speaks for itself. This is the power of alignment. When you stop sending mixed signals, the universe responds with clarity. The law of reversal is not about forcing or pushing, it is about allowing and receiving. When you shift into this new way of being, your life begins to reflect that shift. You become magnetic, not because you are doing anything to attract, but because you have removed everything that was repelling. This transformation requires patience, consistency, and trust. It is not a one-time event, but a continuous process. Each time you catch yourself slipping into old patterns of control, panic, or doubt, return to center. This is where the true mastery lies. In maintaining this state of calm, regardless of external circumstances. When something you wanted arrives, receive it with gratitude and continue in the same frequency. When something does not arrive or arrives differently than you imagined, remain in the same frequency. This is equanimity. Not that you don't care about the outcomes, but that your internal state does not fluctuate based on external conditions. This level of stability is what allows you to build sustainable success. You are no longer riding the emotional roller coaster of hope and disappointment. You are standing on solid ground, responding to life from a place of center rather than reacting from a place of fear. This is the difference between occasional manifestation and living in a perpetual state of receptivity to what is ready to arrive. And so, I invite you to live from this place for the next 24 hours. Choose one statement, one anchor, one refusal to excavate the seed. Drop one word that captures the energy you are choosing moving forward. This is your energetic signature to the quantum field. And if you have not yet subscribed, subscribe now, not just to stay connected, but to stay coherent, to stay elevated, to remain in this frequency. Together, we continue to explore how consciousness shapes reality. The more of us who embody this truth, the more the world will reflect that truth back. You may be the mirror someone else needs today.